Welcome to the Visual Cast. I'm your host, Alon, aka Rem. The Visual Cast is a hybrid podcast where we interview some of the most unique, interesting, high-level, and exciting artists from all over the world. Entering into Season 2, we will be starting a monthly live stream to our paid subscribers. To join in on the live stream with Q&As, polls, and some surprises, click on the join button below. Your subscription will massively support our channel and bring us further to creating a community of like-minded individuals who love, create, and immerse themselves with the visual arts and the visual world. For those unable to join financially, don't worry. The episode, like all of our episodes, will be available on Thursdays for everyone to watch. And if you want to support us, like and subscribe and share with anybody you think will enjoy the podcast. I really hope you guys enjoy this episode. Now, without any further ado, here's the Visual Cast.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride.
By a special guest, kind of a long time coming. He actually reached out to me a long time ago, and we never managed to be able to schedule things, and then things, as life always is, gets very busy, and we've actually been trying for the past 2 or 3 weeks to get the stream to work, and we finally did it. So I'm very excited to welcome to the podcast an awesome visual artist, an awesome sound engineer and producer. Welcome to the podcast, Dewpoint, aka Anthony James.
Hello.
How's it doing, my friend?
It's going well.
We did it. We did it.
Yes.
Nice.
Thank you for having me on.
Of course, man. Of course. It's my pleasure. And, this is to anybody out there. Reach out if you want to be on the show. I'm always happy to put people on. I might not always answer right away, but I will always get to it. And here is an example of that. So while we get more familiar with you, we'll take a little bit look at your Instagram. Because you are kind of like a little bit of a unique person in the space with having such a vast audio or music, I should say, following and career, I figure we can kind of listen a little bit to some of your music as well. And I know that, stick around for the set because Anthony has really awesome something ready for us. So that's very exciting. But yeah, I guess while I play the music very low, give us, because your music is very loud, which is a good thing. Tell us a little bit about, your kind of, your we're going to obviously dive in deeper, but just kind of your music career. How has that been? What are some highlights of your performances? What are some goals that you're trying to achieve in that space? And just a little bit about your music career while we kind of peruse your Instagram here.
Definitely. So, started music, started making music first before I started making visual art, maybe a year before, and that was in 2021. I started to learn from producers would stream on Twitch about their whole process there, then I got in. I've always been curious about visuals because attending shows before then, the first time I saw Tipper, I was like, "Wow, this is incredible!" It was Camp Bisco when Fractal Visions played.
Never heard of him.
Everyone was whispering. Yeah. Everyone was whispering around the campgrounds, who's going to be the visual artist? And before that, I had been to some concerts and seen a lot of visuals, but I never, made the connection of, oh, like there's literally someone performing like visuals like at the same time. Usually, I mean, I guess sometimes it's time coded, but um, yeah, that was incredible. And then during COVID, people would live stream often with visuals. Like, so I actually commissioned VJ Cobra for one of my first
Oh,
mixes.
shout out. She's the
Yes,
best.
yes, absolute legend. And um, yeah, so then since then, played a lot of shows in and around Tennessee in the South, which is where I'm from. I'm currently living in Florida, doing more of like regional and like mostly on the East Coast. Um, got into visuals eventually, making my own first in Touch Designer, then on Unreal, um, and a little bit of Notch lately. And so
The Forbidden Notch.
the Forbidden Notch.
No, I'm joking. I'm
The
joking.
60-day
We
trial
love
is
Notch.
great.
They have a
Yes,
trial version of Notch? I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
new.
it's 60
That's cool.
days, and you can render in 1080p.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Smart they did that.
Yeah,
Long time coming.
yeah. And I had the learner song. Well, I actually still have the learner song, which yeah, I've protected somewhere safe. The discontinued learners one time dongle, but anyway, yeah. Some performances.
Dude, your music is so good. Like, it's just banging. You know, like, I'm sorry you
Thank
can't hear
you.
this, but we can all hear it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
So good. And the
definitely.
visuals that accompany it are beautiful too. The music is killer. It's like I mean, like, is it like bass music? Like, what would you call
It
it?
is, yeah, definitely, because it encompasses a few different subgenres. Like I love jungle, I love
Mm,
like garage, like two-step, kind of like closer to dubstep, or like maybe not like as heavy dubstep. And then I love glitch hop. Um, some of my favorite artists, Jade Cicada, Shmoop,
nice.
Resident Language, they're definitely inspirational. Obviously Tipper.
Hell yeah.
Um, and yeah, had the pleasure of doing an audiovisual set at the Black Box this year.
Nice, dude.
Um,
This is beautiful.
oh yeah, that one's.
T-
I really got into visuals with Ray TK, and
yeah, Ray TK is
yeah,
great.
super thankful for everything that Tech's done with it.
Yeah, shout out Tommy for sure. It's a good place to start, right? Like, I mean, it is still node based, but I feel like there's a lot of information out there, and it's like, it's kind of geared towards like making shit look cool fast, which is like, I know, like, when you're getting into visuals, it's like so hard to like learn a completely new language, a new program, and it's like you just kind of want to make cool shit. I guess like in music, it's kind of like the same thing as like you have a keyboard in front of you and you press keys and things happen, versus like building a synthesizer in Ableton or whatever in whatever the equivalent of that would be. Um,
Yeah, and I found that because a lot of how I work in music is I have a sound source, then I have notes for the effects, and then I have the output. Um, and Touch Designer was a great entry point because you have, especially with Pops or before that Ray TK, and
yeah.
of course still Ray TK, you have your source shape,
Oh, nice.
you have your modulator twists, um, and then you have your output.
Yeah.
So yeah, I find the workflows are actually more similar than one might think.
They must be, right? Because it's kind of like, you know, it's almost like samples are like loops, right? You know, you can remix them, you can change them, you can alter them in so many different ways that the source sample is like completely irrelevant at that point. You know, then you have like synthesizers like generative noises or things like that where you're starting from like a scratch. You know, you're not using an original thing. You're using something that's whatever, synthesized or generative. Um, I think maybe, and you tell me, like, this is definitely interesting, but like I guess where things kind of shift and change is like, you know, and I guess it kind of is still what's synonymous, because you have like, you know, you have like color science and you have sound science and you have like, you know, framing, and but then in music you'd have like thematics or, you know, maybe like even like sections, right? You'd have like a chorus and a first verse or whatever. Um, yeah, I guess they are very, very similar. Do you feel like this is a good place to start, actually. Do you feel like now that you're a little bit more deeper into the visual world that are noticing noticing any differences that are like, fundamental?
Definitely, I feel like with visuals, oftentimes there's um, more steps of the process in the
Mm,
sense of for an Unreal Engine piece, I'm not just using Unreal. I'm using like Substance Painter or
right.
ZBrush or
Right. Like the 3D
like
pipeline.
modeling. Yeah, yeah, and like there is some sort of similarity there with like plugins
Mm,
in the DAW. I find too that lately I've been trying to improve on like telling a story with the visual side of things, and kind of doing more than just having like some of my earlier works are just kind of like a simple movement that might be controlled by like some real time parameters, but
abstract.
I really, yeah, I really look up to like the Void and Tonalist. They do this a lot where it'll be like one scene and then it morphs into another scene and it kind of
Mm-hmm.
like evolves, tells a
Mm-hmm.
story.
Mm.
Um, so yeah,
Nice. Like trying to use abstraction as a mechanism for storytelling, or finding the story within the abstraction. Um, yeah, I feel like as viewers of art, or as bystanders of art, it's kind of like what you're doing, like what we're all doing when we look at art, right? Is like putting our own interpretation into it, finding our own connection to it, um, and then as the artist layering that, with a intention, or with some sort of story, or whatever it is. Really, you're just like infusing in. It could be story, it could be character, it could be political, it could be motivation, it could be emotion, it could be whatever, anything really. Then you're just kind of layering it up very much. I feel like in music you have the same thing of like, you can hear, and samples are actually a good example, right? Like you can hear a track and all of a sudden it pulls up like a sample of whatever, like, what's a classic, Terrence McKenna or something. But the way that it's kind of brought up in the context of the song or of the track, it means something different, right? Like obviously words are not abstract. So like once you put in words, kind of like in visuals, when you put a symbol of something, they're not abstract anymore. You put a character or a face, it's not abstract anymore. It's specific, right? But the way that you light it, color it, make it move, make it feel, is going to change the way that it's interpreted. And the same thing for the sample, the way where it comes in the song. What is it leading off to? Is it a break? Is it about to drop? Like so many, and obviously there's so much more that I don't understand about sound. Um, but yeah, I love that you're experimenting with that, and looking into that world.
it's been a really nice adventure for sure, and it's really nice. When I feel like I hit a wall with one, I can just experiment with the other, and really having like a different medium than and I don't really have like people will ask me if I'm like more into audio or visuals, and I took a picture of my screen one time and it was like a Bitwig right next to Resolume, which Bitwig is the DAW, and then and it's just like I don't really choose between the two, but it's nice having a second medium to like if you ever feel burnout on one thing, you can experiment with another.
Yeah, that's super powerful. I mean, like, burnout, or just like, walls, or just getting bored, which is totally normal for the creative process. I think that people don't really, they're too hard on themselves. Maybe the culture we live in, or the internet, who knows. But yeah, it's like having that outlet. I mean, it's kind of funny because the outlet is still on the computer. You're still like you're doubling the computer. But I have the same problem, it's like all my hobbies are on the computer, and it's like I gotta get new hobbies that are outside of it. But yeah, it's so good to have other passions, especially creative expression, especially ones that are creative expressions. Do you find yourself like when you're working on either music or visuals, do you find yourself putting on your own works to like kind of like guide you in that sense, or is it almost like you'll never listen to your music while you're making visuals, or kind of thing?
Sometimes when practicing usually when practicing performance, I will put on my own stuff because I usually um, will DJ my own tunes, and
That makes sense.
lately with the AV set. But when making visuals, for example, I usually listen to other people's music, just because I don't know, I love listening to Cohen sound when working on stuff, and
Nice.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we're working on visuals, especially because visuals, I feel like, for me, takes longer, and maybe it's just because I have a workflow with music where I've done a lot of hour challenges for production for music production, and I've kind of got a workflow that I've been trying to do better about not writing the same thing over and over again. But with visual stuff, it's definitely they're all so many different programs, and working in yeah, oftentimes for me it will take longer to get a visual piece made than it will to get a song
That makes
going.
sense. That makes sense. Also,
Yeah,
you're newer to visuals than music, right? So you kind of have
definitely.
um, a little bit more experience with that. Is I always wonder, with visuals, I guess maybe as I'm a little bit more well, whatever. With visuals, there's a lot of times you'll see something or you'll have an idea of something and you'll want to put it down on, on paper, or whatever, sketch it out, or think of it, or just kind of build it. Do you have similar tendencies with sound? Like, do you think of a cool drop, or is it more technical where you're like, oh, that VST plugin, if I just change the thing on it, it will sound different. You know what I mean?
So yeah. It is a similar thing when I think of a riff for
A
a
riff.
bass line or something, and I'm
Mm.
not by the computer. I'll do a voice memo. I don't try
Hmm.
to remember it, or try to get to the computer to put down a rough sketch of it. With visuals, actually, I end up kind of just following the tools kind of take
Mm.
me a lot of times where I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Although, yeah, there are definitely with this album, Phoenix Rising, I wrote a story beforehand
Hell
um,
yeah.
on Notion, and then I tried to make visuals that fit along with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then same with the music there. But a lot of times it's really fun just experimenting and seeing where the tools take you.
For sure, for sure. I feel like that's kind of a huge benefit of a tool like Notch or Touch Designer, versus an Unreal, where you can really just plug things in and start playing around without having a direction. When you're getting into the 3D world, or asset creation and stuff, it is helpful to have some sort of idea or vision. But as I must say, sometimes, because I'm so experienced with the tools, that I can like fuck around with things and have, I mean, a lot of times the results are pretty shitty, but you can just kind of play around with things. I don't know, it's a little bit different, but I find myself sometimes when I have I'm working now on a projection mapping thing for a building in Mexico, and it's this old building, and I have all my workflows that I do for projection mapping that are kind of not plug and play, but very close to just putting something in Unreal, and I have a bunch of stuff. And I kind of, again, am getting a little bit bored from it, So I was like, okay, I'm just going to make a clean project and just add in the model, and just, you know, like, and there's not much you can do just like that. You still need to, add in lights, or textures, or, maybe make a Niagara thing. There's a lot of things you could do, but it's not as like playful or experimental or experimentative, if that's a word, as like, you know, plugging in your model to a node graph and like fucking it up, you know, or messing around with it, trying different things. So like I am trying to find the, you know, the experimentation inside of other programs. But yeah, I think that's like really where those specific programs shine. So, Anthony, tell me a little bit about growing up in Tennessee. What was that like? You know, did you have musical influence when you were growing up? Did you have artistic influence? You know, what kind of shifted and shaped you into the Anthony that went to university to study music?
Yeah, so I think the first thing that really got me into all of this was my mom showed me Phantom of the Opera, the movie with Gerard Butler.
The
And
Phantom of the
yo,
Opera
it's
is
so
there
good. It's so good.
inside
And
your
I was just
mind.
like, the
I love it.
soundtrack is so good, and this it had a story that went along with it in the visual aspect too.
What's
And
that? Dun, 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 dun. When you know
the
his like,
chandelier.
yeah, his love song to her. Oh, I love that song.
Oh
Oh shit, how does it go? It's
yeah,
so nice. Anyway,
yeah.
sorry.
And
Continue.
Les Miserables too. So I love the musical theater. The
Nice.
Les Miserables movie with Russell Crowe was another really good one for me. Was always into like the dark, the dramatic side of musical theater. So in high school,
Epic.
I joined choir and was they did musical theater in choir. And my choral director, Miss Burkhart, definitely one of my biggest inspirations. She's now retired, and she was just fantastic. Really pushed us to be like to the best quality, but also was just like a kind human and
Mm,
fostered growth. And
beautiful.
so then, yeah. So from there, I got a grant to go to university
Oh wow.
because I was kind of like the first of my family to go to university, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't end up getting to finish but I went for music education and later added a minor for composition because I was in choir there and they focused on opera as well. But I was always like, oh man, like singing. I was singing other people's work, and I was like, oh, it would be so cool to like write a script for a musical theater
Mm,
show or
mm,
write my own music. And so I would start with sheet music, blank sheet music, and just write in like chord progressions and like voice leadings, stuff like that. But yeah, it wasn't until yeah, I went to I didn't get to finish my degree, although I would really like to go back. I've been kind of looking into it lately, actually. But
mm-hmm.
then it wasn't until 2020 when I saw musicians working inside of Ableton mostly that I was like, oh, so like it made sense because like a friend of mine in college showed me Ableton, and I was like, I don't really understand this, and I thought like, oh, maybe if I remix a track, then that would get me on my feet to be able to make my own music. But then I
Hmm.
brought in an MP3 from Grizz, the music artist, into Ableton, and it was just one track, and I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do with that?
Hmm.
So I put it away for like 5 years, didn't look at it at all, and then in 2020, yeah, started watching Vector and Cursa and EPROM, did some streams. I mean, COVID was such a great time for learning and for growth.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
yeah,
That's so cool. Um, I love the musical theater kind of thing. I think that's a really interesting kind of origin. You started to mention that I totally cut you off with the Phantom of the Opera thing, but you started to mention that you really loved like not only the music but the storytelling. Like, you know, I also love musicals. I don't think that I ever like had an affinity to write them, but like one of the first movies that I ever made was a musical. So like I did want to I did want to like bring that love of, because like there's something about like film to me, and maybe musical theater is like a little bit similar to it, but like film is like some sort of like top tier art form, right? Because you're like mixing in sound, picture, all the visual things, but all the sound things, and then there's like storytelling is like there as well. So it's like writing, video, audio, and like musical theater is, maybe you could even argue that it's like a step above because you have like performance as well. Um, so I always had this affinity. Did you kind of feel that same like affinity towards it, and like what was about the storytelling that really connected to you?
Oh, man, well, as a teenager, I was really angsty, and I felt like the world was against me. And then Phantom of the Opera, I was just like, must have had like I don't know. I just was like, oh man, like there's this character who and I guess the ending isn't great and whatnot, but yeah, I was just like, oh, I could feel like a connection with the characters,
Mm.
and two, with film slash musical theater and like screenwriting, is what made getting into Unreal so cool, was because like you have like
Mm.
literally like camera controls that are similar to um,
Film, yeah,
uh, yeah,
like a film
yeah.
camera. Yeah, for sure. I totally get that. Like that was a huge thing for me too in getting back into Unreal, was like, oh, I'm like, it's not just 3D anymore. It's like actual, you can actually do like full on animation, like storytelling and animation. I also really loved that about Unreal. Cool. So you went to school for music education. Was there something specific that you went to study? Like, was the idea kind of like, were you already getting into like electronic music already? Was it kind of like a shift to kind of get to there, or you tell us a little bit about why you went to school? And even though you didn't finish, I didn't finish my schooling either, but just like, what was the catalyst, if I may, and
I,
reasoning.
Yeah. So I basically wanted to have some sort of impact on like helping others find a creative outlet that my
Hmm.
choral director did with me, and so I
Mm-hmm.
actually like wanted to become a choral director, focused on
Gotcha.
vocal music, and then like a couple years in, a friend of mine took me to, it was 2017 or 2016 maybe. My friend was like, well, and actually, so with electronic music, I had heard like some Skrillex and Dead through the
Mm-hmm.
university like CD library, but I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, like, um, it's cool. I listened to more of like alt rock at the time, but then a friend of mine took me to an Excision show, and I get in there, and they're tossing around this giant LED um, like beach ball that was clear, and it had lights on the outside and just like all the flow artists, and then like
Hmm.
he brought a giant T-Rex on stage, and the bass was vibrating in the air, and I liked
Uh-huh.
like heavy music, like hard rock, maybe a little bit into metal at the time.
Mm-hmm.
um, and yeah, so that was really cool. Then a friend of mine was a different friend had a radio station at the university, well, a show on this radio station, and he invited me to hang out with him while he chose the music, and um, he was into a lot more like glitch, like edit
Mm-hmm.
and grizz. Um, and so I was like, oh, it's so intricate and so cool.
Hmm.
And that's when I started listening like to electronic music on the earbuds a lot more,
Hmm.
and throughout my day and stuff. So yeah, and so like seeing Tipper for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, actually, so my first festival was Bonnaroo, and
Mm.
it was 2017. And I saw Flume and Glass Animals there, and I was just so like,
Nice.
Flume had these like um, it was his Skin tour, and it's still to this day one of the most inspirational like live shows to me. It
Mm-hmm.
was had the LED wall, and then he had like LED bars of
Mm-hmm.
lights surrounding his like MIDI setup, where he would like play on the instruments for
So with like light
mostly like
everything up around him, kind
accents.
of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I thought that
Mm.
was so cool. Um,
Yeah.
and and also the songwriting of Flume's music was it is still really inspirational to this day. Um, because yeah, yeah, that's pretty much how I got into electronic music.
So cool. Oh, sorry, I keep on pressing the wrong button. A little bit rusty when it comes to the button pressing. Yeah, it's awesome. I feel like those are really cool inspirations. And you know, when you say, did you go into music education? Is like literally like to study to become a music educator? Is that like the idea?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So you wanted to be a teacher. Interesting. So like that was that, and that was something that you felt like you just wanted to bring other people into this world and help them kind of like be part of the thing that you were enjoying.
definitely, definitely.
So cool. Yeah. Well, in that case, I mean, definitely, you should definitely go back to school and get that degree, because I think you could be a really, you'd be a great educator. Um, so okay, so after you're in school, may I ask why you dropped out? Was there anything specific?
Yeah, so yeah, so I basically was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, and
Oh, wow.
when I was first diagnosed, they gave me.
What's is that like schizophrenia?
Yes, it's schizophrenia, and I actually just learned this a couple of years ago. That the difference between schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorder is, with schizophrenia, it's a lot stronger. Like um, there's kind of two sides of it. There's like hallucinations, and also
Mm-hmm.
I like ideation, or like
Mm-hmm.
kind of like paranoia, right? And I
Right.
never
Right.
really experienced a lot of like hallucinatory aspects of it, but the paranoia, like it just it was a lot, and it would kind of
Hmm.
but with
Affect your
schizophrenia,
life.
it yeah, definitely, and um, with schizophrenia, it kind of like overtakes the capacity for emotion more often than not,
Right.
or like kind of uh, reasoning is just kind of like it's a lot more extreme.
Hmm.
But yeah, I got diagnosed, and they prescribed me to begin with the maximum amount of medication they could prescribe for schizophrenia. And
Wow.
so at the time, I was taking finals, and I was just I I went and took the finals, but like I was so out of it that I failed, and they retroactively took back financial aid. So I need to pay the university
What?
um, yeah, yeah.
Fuck that
Um,
place.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah. As
cool.
soon
Even though you were diagnosed with
yeah,
like a disease, that's so gross.
yeah,
It's bullshit.
yeah. It is a shame, and I have like emailed them since, like explaining my situation. Like I have the hospital documentation and
Yeah.
everything, and there's there's not really anything we can do. Um, and so
Ridiculous.
essentially, I just have to pay the university, and then I'm gonna get my credits from there, ideally, and transfer to a different
Yeah, no,
university.
I would if I would seek legal action because if you're just trying to get your credits out of there, there's no reason for you having to have to like pay money. I mean, I'm speaking out of my ass. I don't really know the legal system of the education system here in America, but I feel like that would be like a situation you have, you have a some sort of what I don't know if you call it a disease or not, but you have some sort of sickness or something like that, a mental disorder, and then your school's not allowing you to like take your credits out. It's like some sort of blackmail. It's not cool. You should definitely find a lawyer for that because you can make a very public case against them of like, look what they're doing to somebody with a fucking problem. Like not cool. Um, wow, I didn't know that about you. So are you on like heavily medication still?
No, now and for the past couple of years, I'm on pretty much the minimum dosage, and yeah, I
And
feel just so much more present and
good.
um, yeah.
Wow. So interesting. Was there, I'm always interested with mental disorders. Definitely one to be interested in them, especially with people that are like, and I mean this with like respect, but like normal, right? Like at least I'm talking to you, you're normal. We've had a few conversations. I would never think to myself that you have some sort of mental disorder. I have lots of friends with, bipolar and schizophrenia and, sometimes even worse things. But like, was there a moment where something happened? Was there a break, or was it just like you were having, depression or ideations that you kind of seeked help?
Yes, it was in 2017, and I was at a music festival at Camp Bisco, and
Hmm.
it was really chaotic. Like the festival, it was raining. It seemed like the staff they weren't very helpful. There wasn't a lot of lighting around the campgrounds, and I got so paranoid and so scared. We were supposed to go from we were supposed to work after the festival to clean the campgrounds in exchange for our ticket.
Like
And
a
then
volunteering.
it was around my birthday. Yes. And then after that, it was going to be my birthday, so we were going to go to New York City. Me and my partner at the time were going to go to New York City to celebrate my birthday.
Hmm.
But then, like halfway through the festival, I was so paranoid that I was like, kind of like losing sense of like where I was at, and I was like, we just have to
Yeah.
leave. I just want to go home.
Hmm.
Um, and um, and yeah, so we ended up actually um, checking me in to a psychiatric unit where they
Really
diagnosed me. Yes.
interesting. So it
Um,
got that bad. You had like just a super just like spiral kind of just fear
mhm.
and
I
paranoia.
literally just ran away, and
Yeah.
thankfully she found me.
Yeah. Wow.
Um,
Yeah. You
but
could have hurt yourself or
but yeah,
somebody else.
definitely.
Wow. So that's really crazy. That's amazing. And then from there it was just like a process of healing and finding out more about
And yeah,
the diagnosis.
healing and some denial. Like there
Hmm.
were a couple times where I was like, well, maybe this isn't a permanent thing. Um,
Gotcha.
and I tried to
Interesting.
get off of the medication um, completely, like cold turkey, and then like yeah, same thing right away.
Yeah,
A
that's
second
that's a
time.
tough one for sure.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
with the medication. That's like what I mean. Chicken or the egg, but like that's kind of what the medications do, right? Like is like you become dependent on them, and then if you can wean off of them, I think, but if you just stop right away, then it's like your brain is just like back to 100, whereas before you needed like stress in a festival that was real to like trigger something, and here it's like you're just off of the medication, all of a sudden your brain is just like I what's going on? This is all fucked up. Um, but awesome that you have it under control. Or I struggle with the right wording. I really don't want to like put you in a position of less than or anything like that. Like we all have problems, and the fact that you have your problem under control, or at least in a place that you're comfortable, you should feel really good about that. Many, if not most of people don't know their problems, and when they do know their problems, they don't know how to deal with them. And I mean, it can lead to really bad
Thankful.
things. Sorry.
I'm really thankful. Sorry, yeah, I was just gonna say, and it
No,
really
please.
isn't just me either. I'm really thankful for the support that I've had along the way. It wasn't especially at the beginning, it wasn't great. Like
Mm.
um, for my support system,
Mm-hmm.
my current partner Ansley, she has been very loving and very patient with me,
Shout out.
and her family. I'm really grateful for and my friends along the way. My dad called it the chosen family.
Oh, that's
Friends
so
are your
sweet.
chosen family. And
Yeah.
yeah, definitely thankful.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. I again, thank you for being open about it. It's a very easy topic to not want to talk about. I appreciate it, and it helps um, our audience and the people that are watching, and just our conversation, to have context and be authentic, which I think is, you're an artist. You're a double artist, and when art comes from a place of difficulty or struggle or not even that, when it comes from a place of triumph and of like appreciation to what you have, I think that that's what makes beautiful art. Those are like sides of a spectrum, right? Like you can be you could have trauma and abuse and everything, and you're trying to like work it out through art. I think that's like very valid. But you can also have a life of beauty and triumph and appreciation, and everything's good in your life, and that can also breed good art. I don't think that there's like, I don't think that there's like one or the other. Which I think a lot of times art is always this kind of like, art is pain, or art comes from here, and I think that that's valid. I don't think that that's something that I don't have anything against that. But if you acknowledge that, you have to also acknowledge that it can also come from good things. Yeah, I feel like I personally lived a very like privileged life, and until my I mean, okay, I had my struggles with religion and indoctrination and everything, but like relatively, I would say a pretty nice upbringing. And as I get older in my adult life, as my life falls apart in my adult life, I'm like, I don't have that like, I don't go to art to like help myself, which I wish in a way that I could and did. You know what I mean? Because I don't have that context of like, oh, I'm feeling really down right now, I'm gonna go make something cool, as like an outlet. And like sometimes I wish that I could have that as an outlet, because it would be useful in my adult life in some way. But you can't force these things. I can't be like crying and then I'm gonna go sit on the computer now to get it out. It's
Yeah.
like it's not like forcible. But I do find like writing for me helps a lot. Like if I just write out my feelings, or just like lay them out for myself, that is a really good outlet, and it is somewhat creative because you're kind of like interfacing with the writing. So I think I would like to come back to this a little bit at the end. I have some questions about like the connections between like psychedelic or altered states of existence and reality to like mental disorders and stuff like that. I think that there's some really interesting correlation there, but I feel like that's a little bit more esoteric. So let's jump back into like a little bit about making music and getting into the visual aspect of it. So you're finishing your schooling, you're having this life altering experience that is now giving a lot of your attention to what and then but now you're in this awesome music career, and playing at the Black Box and playing at festivals and having your your name in on flyers and stuff like that. What was kind of you have management and all this kind of stuff. What was the shift there? Was there like a like pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of moment, or was it kind of natural? You mentioned COVID as well. Just kind of bring us into like a little bit of like right before you got into visuals. How did you solidify your music career and get into that place?
Definitely. So I did shows for a couple of years, um, and was starting to get more and more original music, like to play at the shows. Did a lot of shows for free starting out, or 25, $50. And then 100 was I felt like I was like hitting a wall with growth.
Mm.
And So I was talking to a friend who he will oftentimes he plays music, and
Mm-hmm.
he has CDJs that he would rent out for events, and that would kind of get
Huh.
him in the door um, to more opportunities. And he told me like I have to diversify my offerings because if I'm like I can just do music and put all my focus into music,
Mm-hmm.
but um, I don't know, like I was getting burnt out on that. So
Mm.
thankfully,
Yeah.
a couple years into it, um, I got actually my first foray into visuals was synesthesia. Um,
Mm.
I
Shout out.
started with in GLSL,
Nice.
and I took I would go to when they would do meetups on Wednesdays, and
Mm-hmm.
I loved math in school, and I hadn't gotten into coding much, but GLSL it just kind of like made sense. Like after a couple like format like getting the formatting down,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it was so cool. Like the visuals ran on my computer without even having a dedicated graphics card at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then actually, Inslee got a um, she gifted me a laptop that had a dedicated graphics card. It had a
Mm-hmm.
3050 in it, and that was when I was like, I tried out Resloom, and
Mm-hmm.
then a couple friends. I joined Neuro Studio, which I'm no longer a part of, but um, I joined them as a musician when
Mm.
they first started expanding from having just visual artists as a part,
Mm-hmm.
um, and met Jesse Papa Bear and Brett Shuffla
Shout out.
and a couple others. Yeah, uh,
OGs.
very thankful for them getting me into Touch Designer,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that was kind of like when it sped up my workflow a good bit, which now Synesthesia has introduced like really cool like libraries and stuff that speed up the
Yeah.
workflow. But
Yeah.
and there's Cursor out there now. I mean, there's really good workflows with the coding aspect of things too.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
Touch Designer made sense because it was like nodes, Rate 2K, and then AAVJ beta. Got
Shout
into
out.
that. Yes, yeah, and did my first AV shows and a lot of the visual shows that I've done, like at festivals and stuff, using just AAVJ or just using Resloom as pretty much an advanced output.
Mm-hmm.
Um, only recently have I kind of pivoted to using Resloom with Touch Engine, um,
Mm.
just because of like hashing. Like and I've been making a lot more clips,
Hmm.
um, and and um, yeah. So I've been pivoting that direction lately with AV sets.
Hmm. Nice.
But yeah,
Nice. So, kind of, I guess, COVID had a big impact, I guess, on just like being able to do a lot of things without having to go through all the gatekeeping of live events and things like that.
right. Yeah. It was a good time to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like 2022 when I started performing as Dewpoint. Late 2022. I think November um, was kind of like the anniversary of
Nice.
like
So your
Dewpoint, and
your
yeah.
album Blossom Echoes is your first album or your second album?
Fourth. And
Fourth. Wow.
second, yeah. My first album was I think January of 2023 or February, and
Mm-hmm.
I commissioned art from Organism Dakota,
Mm.
um, uh,
Shout
a
out.
great friend, and um, then my second album I used Ray 2K cover arts for
Mm-hmm.
cover arts.
Nice.
Then the third album was Unreal with Phoenix Rising, and then Blossom Echoes, which I just got my test violin for
Yeah, hell yeah! I've seen that on your
which
Instagram.
Touch Designer.
Beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful. Nice. So that's awesome that you're making your own cover art. I think that must feel really good and fulfilling. Um, so okay, so I get like the trajectory into the visuals. Did you like? Did you have the opportunity to DJ or whatever, play music while somebody else was VJing? And was there like a moment of like, oh, I want to do that, or I can do that, or I need to do that, like, or was it just more of just, like, you just have this affinity to this whole kind of scene, and you do strike me as a person who's like sinks their teeth into something and just like doesn't like a pit bull, like locks their
yeah.
jaw.
Well, yeah. So when I first started doing visuals, I was so burnt out with music that I actually took like 3 to 6 months away completely from working on music to learn
Mm-hmm.
visuals, and then I ended up performing a few times in 2023 late summer. I got to do Soundhaven, Submersion,
Nice.
and Big Dub.
Hell yeah.
Um, and yeah, all with AAVJ except Soundhaven with the UFO. It was using Resolute just for advanced output.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then
And
I came back
these are
around.
AV sets or just visuals?
No,
No
just
audio.
visuals. Yeah,
Just visuals.
just visuals. Mm-hmm.
And sorry, then you came back
so
around?
then I came back around, and I had already made like a bunch of art, and I was like, well, maybe this could pair with this, like music wise,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, then it pivoted, like doing my first AV set was really cool, because yeah, I don't know, I almost feel like a one man band sometimes, but yeah, it was super cool being able to offer that as like a package, and then yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's very fulfilling as well, especially like the more you get into visuals, the more I mean, now you're already kind of like in it, but like, when you're getting more and more into it, you're kind of like, oh, this is cool. And like, if I can also like curate my own show with my own stuff, then it's going to like elevate the whole experience. You're a storyteller, having that, especially in electronic music, there's always a screen behind you that's telling a story. And okay, yeah, obviously if you're big enough, you can pair your own VJs and tell the story that you want, or find the people that you like. But a lot of oftentimes you're kind of like stuck with whatever's in the screen, and that's not like saying that like that's a bad thing. And like your music should speak for itself in that sense. You should be able to listen to music in a black room and feel and see something, right? Or at least to some degree, to some extent. But yeah, I totally hear like it's interesting because I feel like a lot of musicians probably have this thought process, but don't actually like take it to like the next conclusion, which is like, okay, I'm just gonna make my own visuals. And then there are many people that do that and then have shitty visuals. You know what I mean? Or like focus their attention on one thing and not the other. And then there are people that make like amazing AV sets, right? Like, we don't even have to name them. There's so many of them. So is that kind of like your goal at the end of the day, is to have like an AV project where it's just like, that's what it is?
Yeah, but I also I always like, or not always, but especially more recently, there's just something really valuable about like doing things with your friends, or collaborating, where ideally like but we can raise each other up,
Right.
So I still like, I'm still definitely like doing some shows where I just do music, or just do visuals. But yeah,
But
I kind of, yeah.
no, please.
Oh yeah, like for example, in Orlando, I with the help of the promoter, brought Steven Glass Crane out. He did visuals for my show there, and there's
Nice.
something so beautiful about it. Like, all the friends that ended up coming through, and
Yeah.
they friends of both of ours,
Hmm.
um, and it really elevated. Because I mean, obviously, Steven is so great at what he does, and
Yep. Love Steven.
yeah, it was definitely an absolute pleasure, collaborating with him on that, and
Yeah.
um,
Can imagine.
yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, and you speak the same language. You have, I guess it's like a win-win in that sense. But I guess my question, I didn't really ask it so well. But like,
oh, sorry.
is no, no, it's not your fault. Is the goal to have an AV thing as like a globaler project, or are you kind of like enjoying this, uh, uh like double? Well, like are
Triple, I
like
guess.
yeah, like I'm trying to the word is I'm like thinking of is like moonlighting, but that's like there's like a negative connotation. I don't mean it like that. I mean more um like having your projects versus having like one project. And like I don't know, maybe you're still figuring it out as
Right,
well.
yeah.
Like collaborating with Stephen Glasscrane, right? Or on the flip side of like playing your visuals for other musician artists. Like is that you must be getting a lot of enjoyment out of that. But it's like the forefront kind of like, okay, I'm going to get all this information and data and experience to then do my own one man show or thing. Or is it
Oh,
really,
right,
you know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, yeah. So, um, definitely, did it at first so that I could have more to offer, and um, be able to get involved in multiple aspects, so that I'm not, and I don't mean to say like just doing music over and over again,
Hmm.
um, but yeah, that's definitely. I mean, I absolutely have like bugged Steven a bunch, and friends that I've looked up to, like with troubleshooting questions, lessons, um, and that is how I've been able to make as much progress as I have with
Mm.
visuals. I feel like um,
Well,
with
it's such a
I
nice
mean without
community.
exactly, yeah, yeah. And yeah, and with Phoenix Rising, it was really cool to be able to make a story,
Mm.
and like with the influence of the people that I look up to. So yeah, that is definitely something that I've like thought about. Like I don't know, I definitely wouldn't want to half-ass either music or visuals.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and I definitely wouldn't want to. Um, I don't know. Um, sorry, it's kind of hard
No, no, it's a tough
thinking
question. I
about
mean,
that.
like, it's no, it's a tough question. I'm not really necessarily looking for an answer, more just like of like just talking about it because I feel like it must be a difficult thing of like I mean, we all have struggled through this. Is like, I remember when I was in film school, getting into VJing, and then being like, wait a second, do I focus on film or do I focus on visuals? And like, the advice that my dad gave me back then was just like, just go with whatever comes to you. Like, you're whatever. If you're enjoying it and you're feeling good about it, then just go with it. There's no like, you can't half-ass something that you're enjoying. You know what I mean? Like, okay, whatever. In like abstractly you can, but like if you go in a direction that makes you feel good and that you're like enjoying, then that is fulfilling. That is the point. Um, there is no like go this way and something will happen or I don't know. Um, yeah, it's a tough one, but it's I guess okay. Do you enjoy one more than the other? That's an even tougher question.
Yeah, because I really can't choose. Like, if I had to choose between music and visual art, I just would. Um, um, but I mean, I have been doing music for longer, but I've grown to love the potential for storytelling and
Mm-hmm.
for in the process of it of
Mm.
making visuals. It's just like it sucks me in, and it's just like
Mm-hmm.
very fun, even with like abstract pieces and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a
Interesting.
really tough one. Um,
When you
I would
when you
say
play, oh sorry, no, please, 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 please.
um, I would say that visuals, performing visuals is a tough one because people don't often see as much value. Like, I still get paid more for audio sets than I do visual sets, and I feel like I do equal, if not more, work on the visual side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So that at that point, it can be definitely discouraging. But the process of making it, I'm like equally in love with both. But
Mm.
um, but yeah, um, yeah, it can definitely be discouraging when um, like um, yeah, when and seeing other VJs as well, like not I mean get I mean, and you know the like it does go into DJing as well, because like there's so many pay gaps. There's like you have like a headliner musician who makes
Yeah.
10K more,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have direct support getting like a few hundred, maybe 1,000, um, and then the like it's just like, and I've played like so many shows for, and then on the VJ side of it, it's just like the headliner VJ getting like a tenth of the amount of the headliner DJ is just
Mm-hmm.
like with as much work that is actually put into it.
Yeah.
It's
Sometimes
just
it's just
like
one VJ in the show, right? And he has to do all the work.
oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like a contentious conversation. I mean, I know the Mograph Mafia group was blowing up the past few days over this kind of. It's like the same conversation we have over and over and over again in the VJ community about minimum standards and being treated a certain way and not being valued. And it's like, you know, nothing will ever change if there is no like consensus, and we don't have to unionize. It's just like the younger generation has to look up to the older generation and respect or listen to what they're saying and like follow through with like because it's like what's happening now is like we've been I'm not naming names, and when I say we I mean like a very global kind of sense. And I was in this conversation in Israel when I lived back there, since 2020, since 2015, basically since I started VJing. It was always the conversation of like just listen to what we're saying. And I was told the same thing by my mentors. you know don't go down on this price, stay at this price, I'll charge more, you charge what I used to charge, let's just start there. And things progress and things change. And I remember when I came to the States like 6 years ago, super frustrated about the situation here with VJs and kind of like bringing it up of like, we got, you got to do a minimum. Okay. Everybody has their local scene. Make a group, make a WhatsApp group in your local scene. If a promoter comes to you and offers you a price, put that in the group and tell everybody, hey, look, this is what this guy's paying. Does anybody want this? Nobody wants it? Okay, make sure nobody goes down on the price and this promoter will learn his lesson hopefully next time. And like, I kind of like didn't feel that I needed to push it more than I did, because I don't live, I'm new here. I'm like, I'm not an immigrant. I have a citizenship. Don't break down my door, ICE. But, I I I didn't feel connected to the scene here because it's not my scene. I'm from the psytrance scene. I grew up in that, music scene, and like the bass scene here is kind of like the predominant music scene when it comes to visuals. So I kind of like laid back. But now 5 years later, the same conversation is happening again with, the next generation or the even newer generation. And it's like, yeah, it's just going to be kind of the same thing over and over again. And it's sad because I don't think people are turned off by that, because most people don't go into art thinking they're going to make money. It's like a very weird place to go into art of like, oh, I'm going to become an artist and be a millionaire. It's like, well, probably not, you know.
Yeah.
Let's hope that you can support yourself with your art. That's like the goal. But like, that's the goal. You need to be able to support yourself. If you can't support yourself from the art, then you're going to be stuck doing a lot of other things, you know, and you're not going to be focused on your art. So anyway, I don't know. That was a rant, but it is a bummer. And I feel like you, as somebody who gets to see kind of like both sides of the coin of the audio and visual, have that kind of, perspective of like, why is the visuals being underpaid so much when they're such a huge part of the show? And I think we're at a time now where many people, because you could argue before that, okay, well, even though they're a big part of the show, they're not what people are coming to see. But now, in 2025, people are going to see visual artists. Like, people want to see Glass Crane. People want to see Keith, Fractal Visions. People want to see, whatever the big names are. There's so many, like, whatever, the Droids and the Tenorlesses and the Voids and, whoever's on a fucking lineup for Tipper. Like, people want to go see those names. And even more so, people are going to a show, let's say they go to the Black Box show, and there's some whoever VJ. And again, there always is going to be a forever VJ because you have to start somewhere. But like, maybe it's a night that has like a pretty crazy headliner and the fucking club is just like too cheap to get like a good VJ. And like, people are disappointed by that. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. If you're going to have a beginner VJ play a headlining show, that just doesn't make any sense. You're not going to have a headlining show with Tipper when all the 5 DJs before him are starter DJs. It would be ridiculous. So, it's kind of like there's like this kind of shift happening. And I hope, and I really hope that the promoters will catch up because, it's I think the audience has already kind of spoken in that sense. And just... yeah, please.
Oh, sorry.
No, I've spoken way more than enough.
No. Thank you. That's definitely the people really appreciate hearing that. And I was just gonna say, a friend of mine who's a musician actually told me, I think like scientifically, like if you're at a show, is it light? Well, I guess it makes sense because light travels faster than sound. But like the visual, like what's going on visually, almost affects more than, or at least quicker than how the sound affects you. So I feel like almost like a what's the word? Just like as a human, like the production as a whole and the vibe of like and like are the I don't know, like the venue, the lighting, and the visuals really play a central
huge part.
Yeah, because I mean, I've played so many shows where, especially in the beginning, where there were no visuals, or just kind of like at like a bar, and it's not the same as like when you go to a show and you buy tickets for a show, and so it really does make sense that like what you're saying, that like if you have like an inexperienced VJ, like technically to the promoter it's like, oh, it gets the job done and I can afford it, but the people will notice, like even if it's just like the vibe being different, that it's just like if you have a headliner playing, I don't know, it should definitely like treat the production, including the visual artists, equally as the headliner acts.
For sure. And I think we're kind of like beating a dead horse here, but like the point is that people are noticing it more and more, and and like the expectation is higher. In the psytrance scene in Europe, you will not go to a festival without kick-ass visuals. And if you do a festival that has subpar visuals, people will not come back next year. And the promoters know this. And like, okay, maybe the we don't have as many famous VJs. People are not necessarily going to a festival because of the VJ. I mean, maybe Tass, is like obviously like one of the most famous VJs, if not the most famous, and people definitely would like be like, okay, I'm gonna go to that festival because Tass is VJing there. But like that's like a very specific example. But I think people are going to a festival thinking, hey, last year the visuals were killer. They're going to be killer again this year. And like, okay, yeah, I mean, as somebody who plays these festivals, I have also fans that come up to me and are very, nice. And like, I'm not like saying that we're not known and not appreciated. I just mean like the actual name of the VJ playing is less important than the idea that that festival has good visuals. You know what I mean? And that's becoming something...
Yeah,
No,
sorry
please.
to interrupt.
No. Not at all.
Well, yeah, and I think the same is about like a festival with support acts, right?
Right.
Like you
right.
might not know all the names on there, but then you find like the next like artists that you like will end
Totally.
up following.
Yeah.
Same with visuals, and like you go to a festival and there's like a headliner, and then like support that is undervalued and or just trying to cheap out on support, like it does not help with audience retention. Like
Yes.
people don't want to go back.
Yeah. No, totally. It's the same thing. You're 100% right. It's like I know that this festival has good curation. So yeah, Tipper's playing there, but all the other artists I'm excited to see because I know that there's good curation there. Or like, maybe like another example is like a festival does their main stage and they bring like another crew to do the side stage. Now that other crew is famous. Like I don't know the artists that are playing there, but I know that crew. Like Submersion's a good example, right? The Rust managed the stage. Like how many people went to the first Submersion knowing that the Rust, I don't know how the politics there, but I'm just giving an example. How many people go to that festival saying like, hey, that that curation team or that label or whatever is running the stage. I want to go to there. And I feel like, yeah, like there's not many visual crews existing right now. I think that, maybe like on the down low, like things are shifting and happening. And I think that in the next year, there will be a big shift in that sense. And like we mentioned Neuro Studio, like I think they were trying very much to be in that position of like, hey, Neuro Studio is curating the show. I'm excited for it because I know that they have good artists. And regardless of our personal feelings about that, I think that the endeavor was very well intended, and I still think that they're kicking. I think that they still have an opportunity to not only have a good intention but also follow through with it, and I wish them well, and I'm sure you do too. Anything else you want to say about this topic before we move into your set?
Don't get discouraged too much to where it stops you from making art and music. Yeah, just for viewers out there, it is okay to say no to a show. There will always be another show. That's what my friend 3 and 8
There will always
told
be
me the
another
other
show.
day. That I'm like, yeah, there'll always be another show.
So true. It's so true. I was hanging out with Keith, shout out Fractal Visions, the other night, and we were just talking about like, he's at a point in his career where he has other aspirations and things, and I don't want to speak for him, but like the point of me bringing this up was that like it's better to charge. Like I always lived in the position of like I'd rather work less and make more money, which is like obviously that's like everybody's aspiration and goals. But I feel like in the VJ world, it's so attainable because there are so many shows, and yes, there are so many VJs. But if you can find your voice or find your style or find your thing, whatever it is, then stick to your value. And don't try and do 100 shows. Try and do those 4 shows that are paying. Okay, if 100 shows want to pay you what you feel like you're worth, by all means, go for it. But like, don't just try and do 100 shows because you can. try and find the value in your thing, and like, you know, it's antithetical, or not antithetical. It's a really good way to find your like your. It's a really good way to create a balanced career for yourself, because like if you can keep your price at a place where you feel like is matching your value, then you don't need to do as many shows to support yourself, which means you don't have to do as much side work to support yourself either, right? There's like some sort of equation, right? If you do 100 shows at a very low price, you're probably going to still have to have a second job, because even though you're doing more, you're making less. And if you do those 4 or 5 shows, or whatever, 10 shows, and you're making more, you might have to work less in between, because the one time that you do it, you're making more support for yourself, and you're also focusing more attention, right? So it's not only about money, you're also focusing a month's of attention on that one show versus like every weekend going to party. And, you know, I'm sorry, we're like so stuck on this topic, but I want to like, it's a good topic, but yeah, like you said, like there's always gonna be more shows. There's no like one way to do things. If you're doing it, you're doing 100 shows, power to you. Like I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because I did that too. I just was in a position that those 100 shows I could make what I valued myself at, because there was nobody else doing it. So I was very lucky in that place where I could do a show every weekend, but that the price that I was charging was enough to support myself. So I didn't have to work. I could literally do a show every weekend and make money and support myself. I was very lucky. And I was only because of the time and place. So if you're in a time and place where you can do that as well, like by all means, definitely do that. I feel like now the time and place is a little bit more saturated, or, you know, maybe producers don't have that value, you know. So I feel like there's like a little bit of a middle ground happening. But yeah, anyway, I feel like that the experience that I got from that, and you can talk to like the Keiths of the world and the Stevens of the world, and they'll say the same thing to you. You know, I'd rather keep my price high and do less shows, and actually
into each show, and yeah.
Exactly. And I always tell Stevens of the world and Tasses of the world, charge more money, please, because then it helps us on the lower tier legitimize our costs as well. So if you're famous and you're really doing really well for yourself, charge more money. That's the advice that I could say.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into your set here. Alrighty, so we are going to jump into Mr. Dewpoint's set here. He has something very special ready for us, so take it away. Nice. Let's go. Let's go. Nice. Let's go. Beautiful. That's Niagara, no? Or is it Notch?
No, that is Notch. Yep.
Okay, okay. Very nice. Is this track your usual opener?
Not all the time.
Okay. I love it. It's a great epic. Nice. Sick. Sick. Yeah. So sick. Is that your underwater mandelbow?
Yeah, it's the underwater level is a blueprint I found on Gumroad.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yep, and then
So cool. I love it.
Mechanical Infinitum, of course,
So cool, dude. I love it.
for the fractal.
Awesome. So sick.
Heck yeah.
And are you mixing in your audio as well? Like it's not a played set, right? You're just like choosing what tracks
Yeah,
to come in next.
I'm mixing it. Yeah.
Does it like match your beats for you, or you're just, I guess you know your music that well?
Yeah. So it matched it. If I click it right before the beat, it'll match it with the beat. Thankfully.
So cool. This is Bitwig.
Yep.
Nice. That was killer. Oh, yeah. Nice. Let's fucking go. Sick. Killer. I love that crazy thing in the background there. So crazy. That's Niagara, right?
No, it was a random thing I made in C4D and then brought it to Unreal.
An Alembic. Works so well.
Yeah.
Whoa. Dragon time.
I'll just play this here again, then I do what you're talking.
Sick. Ooh, pretty. Is this a real-time scene with the flowers?
Nope.
No?
I haven't been
I
using
see.
real-time scenes. These are the real-time scenes.
I see. Can I just see you're changing some audio reactive stuff? Is that audio reactive stuff from
Yep.
from Touch Designer into Resolume?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Via OSC.
Nice. You like the tools in Touch better than the FFT in Resolume?
I am not familiar with the FFT and Resolume, I guess, because I tried sorting it out, but I was just like, it's just easier to do in Touch Designer.
Totally. I will not agree more with you. I like this clip a lot. Sick. Nice. Ninja sword action. Nice. Nice. That was sick, dude.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, that was super awesome. Super nice to have just watch that and experience. I honestly, like, I know we kind of had this conversation before, but I really love like when people play their own music, like play visuals to their own music. It's just great. Like, you know, there's just something about it. It's like the same thing of like people playing their own visuals versus like loops. Like, I don't know, it's just something cool, you know. I love it. That was really awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you want to share your screen a bit, and we could talk a little bit about what we were looking at?
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, primarily using Bitwig for audio. I have a little DJ setup where I use my Intec, single Intec module that I've been able to get so far for mixing between tracks. I have the tracks loaded in here as clips. And then Resloom. I played mostly clips in the set. I'm trying to get more confident in loading in Touch Engine for like real time scenes.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot more real time scenes in AAVJ, but this kind of allows me for now, while the caching is still in development and stuff in AAVJ, to be able to run music at the same time. So yeah, Touch Engine is a free FFGL plugin for Resloom where you can load in Touch Designer scenes. And here's one now. There we go.
Nice.
Blossom Echoes with Sarv's Fluid Solver.
Nice. Yeah, how is it? You liking it?
I like it a lot. Yeah.
Shout out Sarv. I've been trying to get him on the show.
Oh, let's go. That would be sick.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so the back end, a little bit is Touch Designer. I've been using this joystick as my second MIDI
Oh, sorry.
for
Show that one more
visuals.
time. Sorry, I just. Oh, like a
Oh, the
controller.
joystick? Yeah, it's a PS4 controller that I've just had for a while now. I used to use a Nano Control 2, but the port went bad on it, and I haven't been able to get another one yet. So,
Hmm.
in the meantime, using joystick node. I actually have a couple of videos on my setup too on my YouTube where I kind of explain why these nodes are which nodes. But essentially, it's like joystick to OSC out.
Mm-hmm.
All of the controls are smooth toggles. So we've got a couple effects from the Void's Patreon here.
Nice.
We've got this one. We've got feedback. We've got speed on R2 because you always want, well, which only works for flips, obviously, but you got to have some speed control. I imagine it's like a game. If you've ever like use a control to like, especially with emulating an older game, they the gameplay pacing is much slower in older games, so people will like super speed. Like they have a button for super speed. So I like comparing it to that. Um, but yeah, really excited to try this new setup out. Because usually I'll just use CDJs and have
Mm-hmm.
Resolume
Mm-hmm.
on the laptop. But this way I have direct audio without having to fiddle with cables.
Makes
Um,
sense.
Also, I'm more comfortable like DJing with the sync in Bitwig than I am on the sync in CDJs. Um, and so yeah, hopefully I'm looking forward to using this newer setup live. So yeah,
Nice.
I
Oh.
like more. Well, they're they kind of each take up half the screen. So
I love it. And is there? Well, let's stay here for a little bit longer, if you
oh
don't
yeah,
mind.
sorry.
Um,
Yeah.
so a little bit about like your audio pipeline. Like are you connecting to Bitwig directly from the Touch Designer module, or just over like audio? Because there's like a
So I use
Bitwig
Voice Meter.
like thing, right?
Yeah.
There's like a.
Yeah. So Bitwig, here you can choose which device to send the audio.
Mhm.
Um, and so yeah, actually they don't match, so I'm not really sure how it's getting. Oh, what?
Is going through voice
I
meter.
really don't know. Yeah, essentially, like it ultimately will go into voice meter, and that's we use an audio device in and then an audio analyze talks, which I can. I have the bass set to Twitch, so it's like a bass reactive Twitch. So if I want less of it, I'll just lessen the gain on the bass.
Right.
But yeah, with the Twitch, I don't really like going more than like 5 or 10%. So,
That makes sense.
um, but yeah, it's just like gives a little bit more of a, and I try not to overdo it, but a little bit more of like the bass, like rumbling the scene and kind of like affecting the camera position in a way.
So there is like a Touch Designer Bitwig thing. No, I thought there was even a node, but I guess it's not a node. It's just like
There is,
palette tool or something.
oh yes, in the palette.
It's like a palette, right?
TV Bitwig.
Yeah, there it
There are a
is. Yeah.
few different ones. So
Do you ever use it, or is it like what
I
does it allow
really
you to do?
should. So it identifies which clip is being played, which I
Mm-hmm.
could use that in a sense to
Make some
trigger like
logic of some
OSC
sort.
for a scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. It almost like bring it more akin to time coding. Like I can make it to where like when a particular song plays, a particular clip will
Start
play instead
something.
of
Right.
making that decision.
Right.
Um, yeah. And then
It
you
also
can
gives you
do
like
like
stems and stuff like that. If you have stems, right? Like that kind of stuff. Like
yeah.
gives you all your MIDI. I don't know. I never. Like I'm not good enough with audio to like understand, but I do understand like the TD Ableton kind of link, and how like it's very powerful, you know.
Yeah, so you got tempo in here, which could be linked to the tempo and resolume.
Right.
You've got position, um, bars. So there's really cool logic that can be done there that I just really haven't. I've only done really TD bitweight stuff with individual scenes so far. I haven't really done it with a live set yet, but I'll have it to where
Mm-hmm.
like audio will like drive the scene, um, which I guess could be possible with Touch Engine. It would just be like probably finicky because Touch Engine loads the controls when it loads the scenes.
Mm.
Pretty sure it's with OSC. These are OSC parameters,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it should be linkable as well. Even with that.
Nice. But right now you're just doing audio, and then you're sending all of your audio into, or all of your triggers into Touch Design. Sorry, into Resolume.
Yep, as OSC.
Nice. Nice. I love it. I love it. And were all the clips you playing yours, or were some of them some others as well?
They were all mine. So I've got this one is a collab with my friend Bloom, who is actually Adam, who's been helping manage my project on the music
Nice. Oh yeah.
and visual side of things. But I definitely talk with him about like development and opportunities on both sides. And then
Nice.
this one, which I didn't play, is a collab with Popcat that I like a lot.
Hell yeah.
In this
So
composition,
cool.
I don't think I have many other collabs that are all.
Nice. Really nice stuff. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we move on?
Um,
Workflow,
yeah.
anything?
Oh, yeah. I would say to visual artists that have been thinking about getting into music, it really is a cool workflow of like you have like your synth as a node, and then you have your effects as um, kind of like this node goes into this node. Um, I've been seeing more and more friends get into it. Papa Bear has been doing A/B
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and I love seeing. I don't know. I love seeing friends on either side, and if people are watching this that are into music, like I highly recommend. It's a intimidating um, thing, especially with people who are so devoted to music that they're like thinking like 3 to 6 months off of making music. What am I even gonna do? But and it doesn't take necessarily that, of course. Like I kind of like blinders on, especially when learning something.
Mm.
But I would say like either or, like don't like especially yeah. I'm also always open to questions like my DMs and stuff. I'm always here for like if you run into a wall or have trouble shooting there. So
Hell yeah. Spam Dewpoint in his Instagram to get access to audio information.
I might send you a lot of YouTube tutorials, some of which
Yeah,
might be
no.
mine.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, but
Hey, you know,
but yeah, it
there's
always helps to
nothing
have a
wrong with
friend.
that.
So
Oh, it makes such a big difference. You know, I tell the same thing to people. Like, just send me messages. When I can answer, I will answer you. And you know, yeah, I might give you a list of tutorials, but it's better than you looking for them yourself. Well, um, thank you so much for that, Mr. Dewpoint. That was awesome. Super nice to get to see your visuals and your kind of like you know, mixing the best of both of your worlds in such a nice way. So I really yeah, that was awesome.
oh yeah, and definitely thank you for having me on and for letting me share like experiences and share a little bit of my art there. And yeah, I love this podcast a lot.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
just like hearing artists' perspective on things, and also
Nice.
yeah, just kind of like being humans. Um, uh, yeah,
The
just very
humanity,
grounding. So
for sure.
yes.
So we're not finished just yet. We have a little bit more here. Um,
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of start off a little bit about, going from audio to video, but we kind of spoke a lot about that in the first portion. So, it is like kind of I guess like a little bit of a exploratory topic for yourself because you're still kind of like in it as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, just to harp on it a little bit longer, like, what are some aspects of each the video and the audio that you like really gravitate towards on each side, and like where for you do the two meet in like a way that's like unexplainable, ineffable kind of situation?
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. For video, it started because I love like troubleshooting with GLSL code, and then like at the end you get like this beautiful little piece of art.
Result. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that kind of is definitely a driving force as I make more and more art, and like
Mm.
always like trying to learn, grow, and things might not always work, but the process is a lot of what makes it special to me.
Mm.
Um, and only recently am I trying to like form that into more of a story, and more of instead of just making individual pieces, like make it a cohesive thing. With audio, I love a good riff. I love a good flow state of rhythm. Um,
Do you play guitar?
and I did actually when I was in high school. I don't have a
Mm-hmm.
guitar anymore, but yeah, mostly
Mm.
keys for me. I have
Gotcha.
a full size keyboard
Nice.
that I use sometimes, and then I have like a 2 octave keyboard that I like for riffs and for like portable stuff. Um,
Nice.
and yeah, yeah, and then when they meet, it's really cool. Like I don't know, there's like hopefully it's not like I mean it kind of like does end up biting me sometimes, but I love like just sharing my art with other people. And so it's really great at the end of a set when I get feedback, or people are like um, when other people find the worth that I find in it. Um, when it makes a difference, like it does, like the process does for me, like making it.
Mm.
So
Mm. Yeah, they really do kind of like merge so well. I it's hard because so many like I've seen a lot of bands live, not as many as I would like to, but I've seen a lot of bands live, like and like as a visual artist, I'm always kind of criticizing the visuals because they're like usually kind of like secondary, like. But then when they do work, it's like such a great experience, and like that's why I kind of really like put on a pedestal like audio visual shows because there's so much thought into like the intersection, you know? And it's like, okay, it's one thing to like VJ to your music, right? But it's another thing to like create a show that is like, excuse me, a full on experience with audio visual. Um, have you ever seen Brett Bolton?
no, I'm not.
So, well, if you're getting into Notch, you should definitely check it out. He's an amazing artist. He does drums, like a live drum thing, but it's all connected to Notch. You'd love it, I'm sure. Just like the first one that pops into my mind because it's like, the combination is so powerful, and like the thought process behind it is so powerful. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing that we were talking before about musicals. How it's like Okay, a theatrical performance is one thing, but a theatrical performance with music that's telling the narrative is like mind blowing. I remember the first time I saw West Side Story, I was like, "This is so cool." I guess it's like whatever. I'm a little bit gay, but like it was so cool. Like I was just like, "This is the coolest shit ever." When you're a jet, and like the way that like the emotion is like passed through the song, and like the overacting got me so much where it's like, okay, I could listen to like Radiohead or Pink Floyd all day and like feel emotions and like cry or feel good or nostalgic, whatever. But then like when you're watching like a musical and it's like the music is like the narrative, it's like such a heightened art form. I don't know how to like explain it.
I do like what NCIS and Eric Minster are doing with Pretty Lights. It's I know it's like
Yes, it's a great
huge
example.
team and a huge undertaking, but it's definitely like really cool seeing the intersection there of like you have like it like the live you have the band and you have like to connect with the band the connect like patches with the band
Yep.
mixed with art and that's definitely a cool one too. I really want to check out Brett Bolton now. That seems
I mean, I should definitely just pull him up quickly because he's a friend. I have been really trying to get him on the show, but he's one of these ultra busy people that never have we make a date, make another date, and it doesn't work. But I don't know, it's not picking it up all of a sudden, but what is it about musicals you think? Like what is besides for like the things that we spoke about, like the narrative and the infusion, like do you feel like it's some form of magic or something like that? I don't know, it's like there's something about it that's so different.
There is, and I think also too, it's the human element of it, and I think especially with where we're headed with technology, that the human element is going to be more and more of an important part of live performances. And so like you literally see like these humans going through these experiences, and that's where the storytelling really kicks in a lot of times. That with obviously like sets and animation or what can get you immersed as well. I don't know. I'd love to pick your brain at a different point about like film work too, because like virtual production has always been like something that I've looked up to. Like I would really love to somehow like learn more about it. Really,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, anytime. The unfortunate the unfortunate thing about virtual production is it's a very expensive entry point. There's definitely like ways you could do it on the cheap at home, but it almost doesn't like fulfill what it actually does when it's done cheaply. I will say that like I can't say too much, but I will say that like I am working together with other people or companies, whatever, to create a much more entry level point of entry for virtual production. It's better that I keep it abstract cool. and confusing because
that's super cool.
Yeah, but I definitely anytime you want to talk about it, just hit me up. This is Brett Bolton, so he's like just like a master a drummer and a visual artist, and he's like a Notch head from like the good old days of Notch.
Dean, this is like clearly reactive to the audio.
It's completely all set up for that. Completely driven by the audio, and like he has this little like patch here. You see with his hand over there. That's like totally reactive to everything. And like you can't hear the music, but it's really good music too. And it's like almost like spacey kind of like synthy kind of like techie kind of vibes, but like heavy drum. And he does like these crazy. He did actually. Maybe you would know this one, the Purity Ring tour that just came out.
What?
He did
Wait,
their
so
he did the visuals for them.
it's that guy. Oh, okay, he did the visuals.
He's
for
not
it. No,
the
that's
actual
interesting.
Purity Ring, but he did the visuals for them. Yeah, he did like all these crazy interactive visuals that they did. And you know his playing ground is this crazy like drumming kind of you know, live set. I've never seen him live, unfortunately. He's in Vegas, but like I can imagine it must be like such a cool experience. It's like, you know, like seeing somebody play drums in general is cool as fuck, and then like adding to it like all the like real time generative stuff, you know. And his aesthetic has like really evolved. Like if you could like look at this a little bit older stuff.
Oh, he's got a. Is a Digitech or a Syntax?
Yeah, I'm not sure how he's playing
so
on
he's
the
drumming
screen.
on the touchscreen. Yo.
This is yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, huh? I never seen that before.
Oh, what? No, that's sick.
It's cool. Here, this is like his older stuff. Yeah, he's like an OG Notch. Here, this is what he used to do. This is like his original show was a projection mapping on his drum set. You know, where he would like, I guess he had like, I think a sensor of something on the drum set that could capture his like hits and capture like the position of his thing.
That's cool. You know, there are MIDI drumsticks. Someone mentioned that the other day in the MoGraph chat there. So it might
MIDI
even
drumsticks?
have- yeah, drumsticks that are MIDI controllers.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I don't remember. He once he did like a thing
It's
in
probably a combination of both.
in Notch, like a presentation of how he was doing, because this is an old show. I think he has like a LiDAR or some sort of like connect or something that's looking at his sticks to see where they are. I think it's much more low tech. At least back then it was. But you see, like he has like all these points of interaction where he could like hit. It's like so cool, you know?
That was so sick.
Yeah, it's so cool. I remember seeing this for the first time, like, you know, like a while ago, and I was so impressed by it. Anyway, yeah, Brett, come on the show, dude. Come on, we need you on the show. I'm gonna clip this and send it to him and be like, "There's no way that he watches enough to like actually get, you know, 2.5 hours into a video. Maybe. Well, anyway, so." Musicals are cool. Virtual production, yeah, we definitely should talk about it. I think you would, you'd really love kind of like the aspects of it. What about it is interesting to you? Just like the marrying of 3D and real time filmmaking.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, just like when I thought like, oh, the light from the LED. Or the LED lights the people in the scene. I was like, yo, that's crazy. Like, that makes total sense. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's very immersive.
But I'm
It's
always
very
like,
immersive.
yeah.
Are you so do you remember the first VJ gig that you got? And like, was it difficult to get your first VJ gig? And did being a DJ help you with that? A lot of questions in one.
Yeah. First VJ. So maybe it wasn't the first one. It was one of the first. There was a venue in Chattanooga, Tennessee called Dark Roast.
Mm-hmm.
Dusa does for Dusa, visual artist, invited me to her. I think I did visuals with her there.
Mm-hmm.
Question. It shouldn't be this hard to think of it.
Well,
I think it was definitely like related to audio or just like being in the scene from in the local to almost regional scene doing
Yeah.
shows where I knew like where I had friends that were also doing it, or they knew like a bar,
Somebody just give you a
bugged them
chance
to
kind of
bug
thing.
them. Yeah, yeah, and yeah. I want to say, and rest in peace to Dark Rose. That was sick. That's where I did my first AV set as well. Um,
Nice. Was it scary to
technically
do
shut
your
down.
first show? Like, like the first time you did audio visual together, was it kind of like, oh my God, like, what am I doing?
Oh no, that was the second audiovisual show. Sorry,
Okay, okay,
sorry, that was my bad. First audiovisual show was in Boone, North Carolina.
okay.
But yeah, it was scary, for sure. Mostly because like VJing from the stage, and it still is a problem that I run into where like I literally have like an HDMI extender over Cat 6 and a 100-foot Cat 6 cord, but still there's always some like technical roadblock with VJing from the stage. Um, like at the black box, I like they had like the connector into the server wasn't HDMI. It was like this older connector, which I still don't know what kind of connector it was.
Right.
But that was the only way I would have been able to use the extender. So my friend, who was also playing the show, Cullen, um, operated. Like I showed him how he was playing
Nice.
music at the show, and he was like, "I can just run it for you from front of house."
Right.
And so I showed him AVJ, um, and I was using this touch screen, which actually have it here. Um, which doesn't even have a back to it. It's like I was using this with Touch OSC,
Nice.
and he was probably so like, what is this guy doing? Like this is,
This jankiness.
but he championed it, and actually there was one other time that I can remember that it wasn't technically possible, and Ainsley, my partner, had seen me do visuals at a bunch of gigs before, and kind of would like see like what I'm doing, and it was what show was it? That was in Pittsburgh, and I did a show with a couple friends up there, and she ran the visuals for me.
Nice.
That show I was doing visuals for the night, and then I was the last set for an AV, but then technically we just didn't it didn't like work out for me to be able to do visuals from the stage. And so it was like, I can do it, and she killed it. She absolutely killed it.
Nice. Hell yeah, dude. That's it's a triumphant story of, like, not, not ending your, just going all the way into it and not like, not giving up. So as we're kind of winding down here, and it's been such a nice conversation with you and really nice to talk to you. I did want to kind of like circle back around to, to mental health and kind of like what that has been like for you. And, we're in a world today where lots of people struggle with mental health, including myself. And some people have, been diagnosed. Some people have more difficulties. Some people are medicated. I don't think it really matters what level well, I'm obviously in a privileged position to say that, but I think that it matters that you feel something. And if you as a person feel something difficult, that's where it matters. So I guess like, I would like to ask you, as somebody who does have a more difficulty, if there's anything that you could kind of like give us or help us with, or, just like a kind of a lesson or something that's in your mind and that. And then in a more positive note, shifting into like the intersection of like, altered states, which obviously we're all in the electronic music scene. We love altered states. But where do those meet kind of like mental diseases and psychological issues and altered states? Because I'll let you take it, actually.
Yeah. It was actually altered states with psychedelics where I kind of like brought out the uh, schizophrenic tendencies that I had, and what led me to, you know, end up checking in for help, and it's definitely important to respect altered states and respect yourself and your limits. And then to the point before, I think, um, let's see, um, yeah, I could definitely say that having support really helps. But even when I've been the most alone I've ever been, um, you know, music and art, and I don't know, even when you're alone, you have yourself, and you don't have, you know, I don't know, yeah, and definitely don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it, even if it's, something smaller, or larger, Um, I'm very thankful that at the time I didn't have health insurance,
Mm,
but Tennessee had like this safety net thing, which I'm not sure if
mm.
they still do, but it covered doctor visits and actually therapy as well.
Wow, that's
Um,
awesome.
and I always recommend that to friends in Tennessee, or like, oh, I've been thinking about getting into therapy, or um, like want to like stay on top of my mental health. Other states do have like safety nets like that, and also when I moved to Florida, I got insurance through a health insurance agent. Basically, like I called facilities, um, and asked about insurance, and what recommendations they have. And they led me to health insurance agents who got me like an affordable um, way to get care,
Hmm.
therapy, um, which is super helpful. Um,
Awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
Do you ever do you remember what you were going through during your first episode? Like, was it like, like when you
Good
have like an all.
points. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, please, no, no, please.
No. Sorry. Finish your question. I'm sorry. I've
No,
done that
I
a
just
couple times now.
no, don't be sorry. I just mean, like, was it you know, like, was it psychedelic? Was it like, did it feel like, a journey into something that came into something, or was it, like, just scary and not like, did you learn something from it, or was it just like, oh, you know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can have a bad
Yeah.
trip and still have like an amazing something out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You get to know
Um,
yourself better,
it, it
whatever it
did
is.
it did help me learn to get out of my head a little bit, because like
Mm-hmm.
all I tend to overthink, or and especially with schizoaffective or schizophrenia, there's paranoia or ideations that um, the mind can kind of roam on its own,
Mm-hmm.
and some one thing that was helpful is um, pointing out like three things in a room, and kind of just like getting out of your head, um, and just um, yeah, um,
Like a reality check or
um,
something like that.
yes, exactly, yeah, and that's one thing, and the experience definitely was trippy in that sense, and the experience since like where I just thought stuff was happening that wasn't happening at all, not even because of like auditory or visual hallucinations, but just because of
Mm-hmm.
where my mind would wander, and,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so yeah, anything that you can do to ground yourself. Or another thing, kind of related, is when the mind runs wild, anxiety-wise, you can kind of center yourself by like thinking about past experiences that made you feel at peace, or like scenery that you remember,
Interesting.
like the ocean or like the
Right.
mountains.
Right.
Um,
Wow, that's cool.
and
I like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then I guess to kind of like wrap it all up here, um, weaning yourself off of medication, getting to a dose that didn't, you know, zombie you out, and you're obviously creative. You're managing to make amazing things and interface in the world. What was that process like? Being able to be confident that you're not going to have an episode or something like along those lines.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of learned like that. I just um, need to be more in touch with how I'm feeling,
Mm.
and I even had advice from my psychiatrist, which I didn't expect to get this advice from, because usually psychiatrists are like, you need to stay
Take
on
your
this
meds.
medication, especially
Yeah.
when, yeah, exactly. But he was like, if we ever want to talk about weaning you off, like, you need to know yourself, and know, like, when you start feeling any sort of feelings, like, have like, and ensure you still have the access to get the help you need,
Mm.
because like when I moved to Florida, um, I didn't really secure like a psychiatrist in enough time.
Mm-hmm.
So like actually like last November, after like 6 or 9 months of just like not being on top of it and not taking my medicine, like I just kind of like, with the stress of like everything, and um, just kind of like I had to disconnect from everything.
Mm.
I even told myself that I might like just like try to not make art or music anymore.
Mm. Wow.
But after I kind of like got the help that I needed, it's definitely more centered again. Um, so that's another thing. Like, if one person that is like because like psychiatrists are licensed by the state, so if you move, it's definitely better to figure out like
Before.
that sort of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good advice. Um, well, yeah. I mean, I'd love to talk to you more about this. I think it's good. We can leave some room for another time. Um, but is there anything you'd like to share with us before we go, or say about this topic, or any other thing really? Um,
Yeah, just one last thing. I mean, I'm just super thankful for all the friends that have empowered me to be able to make and share art and music, and you included, and especially with this podcast. Is actually like one of my goals for the year was to do a podcast, and we
fuck
got it
yeah,
in.
we got it in. Hell yeah, dude.
Yes.
Yeah, 2025. Fuck
So.
you.
Oh man! But definitely wouldn't wouldn't be here without the support that, and I can only hope that I can give back to others and pay it forward. So yeah, that's it from me.
Well, Dewpoint, you are a point of dew for sure, and full of interest and intrigue and talent. So, yeah, keep on keeping on, and thank you so much for joining the podcast, and thanks for being a fan and listening, and yeah, thanks again for coming on. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Much love, and thanks again.
Wow, what an episode! Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Mana Smash for the intro and outro music. Thank you to Sophie Holder for the amazing internship helping us with all the episodes. And thank you to the guest for coming on and spending time with us. See you next week.